Barnaby Joyce today was at the National Press Club, of course, after doing our pub test the other night in Tamworth. I'm pretty sure he had more fun with us in Tamworth than he did at the National Press Club today, especially some of the snarky questions from the Canberra types. Annoyed they're not on the bus?
The Coalition is said to have a woman problem. It's not just a lack of female representation in the Coalition, but a slew of incidents involving Coalition men. Why should the women of Australia vote for the Coalition?
The perception that you're not ambitious enough on climate change. Will you be overseeing a Pyrrhic defeat?
Pyrrhic defeat.
Pyrrhic defeat.
The prosecution of the climate wars.
Yep.
And so while you've been off on the kind of climate frolic, haven't you, given those conditions, failed on your key KPIs in terms of representing the bush?
I'm getting a sense you're not voting for me.
So that's wrong. Polling's wrong.
You're effectively conceding that Scott Morrison's personal standing is an issue. Why do people not like Scott Morrison?
The lovies, they got it in for him because, of course, he represents those awful, yucky, disgusting people who don't live in the inner cities. Those awful, yucky, disgusting people who keep voting for this terrible government, which is why they're going to go teal at this election. He, of course, nailed Albanese and Labor when it comes to economics.
It's so idiotic. So if you go and say, I'm going to have a 5.1% wage rise, I'll tell you two things are going to happen. The businesses that can are just going to put it on the price of their product, on their groceries, on their services, your mechanics, your accountant's bill. They'll say, fine, bang. I'm an accountant. Say, what, you want 5.1% for everyone here? Sure. Show me your accountancy bill. I'll bang it on that. You know what that's called? Inflation. Inflation. You've just gone out and inspired inflation. And, you know, you don't make decisions on the fly.
And the one word that's the biggest problem in the world that nobody on the left ever wants to talk about, China.
China is now utilising the same tactical positioning. And it's an imperative in this campaign that the Australian people are fully aware of this. It is not alarmism. It is a reality, and we have to be awake to it. It's quite obvious. Through their desire to have military bases, they are starting a process of encircling Australia. And there is a wish, at the very least, to intimidate, or at worst, to supplicate Australia. Australia has a maritime vulnerability. We're a nation that is surrounded by sea. If you can stop imports and exports into Australia, you can stop Australia. We must regain sovereignty in this space.